I'm about to blow your mind. Over the last couple weeks, I've had a ridiculous amount of people reaching out to me for help or guidance, advice with all kinds of crazy shit that happens that should never happen. Unfortunately, this is not a situation that I can fix. This was a transaction that closed in 2021. I need y'all to follow along with me on this. This is absolutely relevant. If you work in real estate, if you are a seller, buyer, if you own a home, if you ever want to, this is a great example of why you need to understand title insurance, who it covers, what it does not cover. Our industry is hurting really bad right now. At least 99% of you, your title company needs to be a company that is not just pushing paper. It absolutely affects your client when shit goes sideways. All right. I get a call from a realtor. They called her because she tends to be a problem solver. She did not know what to do. So naturally, I am her problem solver. So she called me. What happened was 5 years ago, the lady sold her house and she started getting letters over a year ago from the Department of Housing and Urban Development about an outstanding mortgage on the property that she sold. Naturally, she thinks it's a scam. So just to make sure, she calls the title company that did her closing. They told her they have no idea what that could be about, and there's nothing that they can do about it. Nothing to worry about, right? So she ignores it. So now she really thinks that it's a scam. She keeps ignoring it. Why wouldn't she? Number one, she never took out a loan with the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development on that house. Number two, she sold it 5 years ago. And the title company she closed at is a very well-known title company in Orlando. I'm going to leave it right there because I am not one to throw people under the bus, but y'all need to know who the hell you're doing business with. Anyways, told her, sorry, we can't help you. The listing agent is the one who recommended said title company. Her realtor ghosted her. She does not know what to do. Here's where it's starting to get really messy. Now she's getting letters from the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development that they are about to start garnishing her wages. They have sued her for a mortgage on a property that she sold in 2021. She's going, how could that possibly be true? I closed at a title company. They are supposed to make sure that everything is paid off. And oh my God, I've been ignoring this. And now I'm finding out this is actually real. Now, how many of you think that this is covered under title insurance? You're all saying to yourselves, of course it is. Wrong. Let me tell you why it's not. Because the seller does not have title insurance. The buyer has title insurance. So when I tell you that no matter who you represent, the buyer or the seller should be selecting the title company. I don't give a damn if your client has to pay for it or not. Ask for a concession because it is much bigger than your joint venture or who has the best closing stacks. The title company is issuing a title insurance policy to the buyer. When the seller sells the property, their title insurance goes away. The title insurance now covers the buyer against any defects that may become a problem that are attached to the property. So why is this not a title plea? Because the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development is not foreclosing on the house. They're suing the seller. So until they foreclose on the house, it is not a defect that has caused a loss. Without a loss, you get my point. So now what happens? What do you do with that? Well, in this case, she tried to call her realtor and her realtor ghosted her probably because she had no idea what to do in such a situation. My client had called me, asked me about this, told me she called the title company and they said there was nothing wrong. I went and looked it up. I said, get her closing documents and her title commitment from when she closed and send them to me. It took me 10 minutes before I was able to tell exactly how much it was for, the fact that they missed it. They did not pay off this mortgage. It was a partial claim mortgage from a modification that she did during COVID. It did not get paid off. So yes, a year ago, before all this happened, when she called the title company, they should have taken that 10 minutes and looked it up and said, holy shit, we need to fix this. But they didn't do that. So some of you are probably wondering, why in the world would it have taken so long? When they started this, it was 4 years after the closing. Why would it take so long for them to reach out and say, hey, you forgot to pay us off? Well, because Secretary of Housing and Urban Development probably had no idea that the sale even happened because this is a silent second. There are no payments due. When you do the modification and they take that balance and put it at the end of the loan, they record a second mortgage, but it just sits there waiting to be paid off when the property is either refinanced or sold. So what I had to do was recommend that she call an attorney to defend her against the government who is suing her for garnishment. But even if She hires an attorney. It's up to like 59,000, I want to say. Even if they pay it out, here's what's bad. This is on her credit. Like, for 2 years, she needs to undo all of this. So not only do they need to satisfy the mortgage, they also need to figure out how to undo all of this mess. They could have alleviated just by acknowledging and taking 10 freaking minutes to listen to the lady when she called and doing the right thing then. Now, even if it is the title claim, do you guys know what happens when there's a title claim? If you represent the seller and there's a title claim for something that doesn't get paid or satisfied at the closing, even if it's something the seller didn't know about, and a title claim is actually filed because it is a loss, the title company will come in and defend the buyer against it, negotiate or pay it off. But do you know then the title company, the underwriter, will generally go sue your seller to recover what they paid out damages? Did you know that? That owner's affidavit that your seller signs at the closing table, where the closer says, this affidavit says that there is no other liens or judgments against the property that you're aware of and that you've disclosed everything. You haven't filed bankruptcy. You haven't had any work done to the property. There's no possible mechanics liens, all of that. That affidavit, the one that's signed at closing, your seller signing that is them saying under oath that there is nothing that could arise after closing to create a loss or a claim against the property. And the warranty deed is an actual warranty. That's what that word means. It is a warranty of title by your seller that they are also liable. If the title policy comes in and covers a claim and pays out for something that your title company missed, the actual underwriter will go and sue the seller, your client, to recover that. Title insurance is for the buyer. There is a lot of information that I share or can share with you that will actually make you better at your job, actually help you protect your client. Now, I don't know how many of you stuck through to the end of this video, but if you did and you learned something today, please repost it and share it, because this right here, educating each other, helping each other, pointing things out, is how we change the industry. It's how we make it better. So do your part.